A few weeks ago, these runs looked very different. The first light of morning, a quiet forest, birds waking up with the sunrise. It felt like the perfect place to think. Today, everything has changed. The forest is gone. The sunrise is gone. Now it's just me, an old, half-abandoned stadium, a headlamp cutting a narrow path through the darkness, and the sound of my footsteps echoing through empty concrete. At first, I thought losing the forest would make these runs feel incomplete. I was wrong, because I finally realized something that had been hiding in plain sight. The place was never the reason I kept running. The place was simply where I happened to be. The reason has always been much deeper. It's easy to believe that progress depends on our surroundings. The right gym, the right weather, the right city, the right schedule, the right moment. We spend years waiting for life to become ideal before we decide to become disciplined. But life almost never becomes ideal. It changes. Again and again and again. The people who continue growing aren't the ones who find perfect conditions. They're the ones who stop depending on them. Standing here tonight, I can barely see beyond the reach of my headlamp. Everything outside that small circle of light disappears into darkness. A few months ago, that would have bothered me. Now I think it's the perfect reminder of how life actually works. We spend so much energy trying to see the entire road ahead. 5 years, 10 years, every answer, every outcome, every possibility. But life has never asked us to see the whole path. It has only asked us to take the next honest step. The light doesn't reach the finish line. It reaches the next few meters. That's enough. Then it reaches a little farther. That's enough too. Maybe confidence grows exactly the same way. Not all at once. One decision at a time. I've started believing that the strongest people aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who stop negotiating with every difficult moment. Because the truth is, the negotiation never ends. The alarm rings. Your mind negotiates. The weather changes. Your mind negotiates. Life becomes busy. Your mind negotiates. The location changes. Your mind negotiates. Every day, it quietly asks the same question. Wouldn't it be easier to skip today? Maybe. But easier has never been the same as better. Every lap around this track looks almost identical. The same cracked surface. The same worn-out lanes. The same darkness waiting outside the beam of my light. From the outside, nothing seems to change. But that's the funny thing about growth. The biggest changes are almost always invisible while they're happening. Nobody watches a tree grow. Nobody notices a mountain slowly changing shape. Nobody sees character being built. Yet all of those things are happening every single day. We're simply too close to notice. I think that's why so many people quit too early. They expect transformation to feel dramatic. Instead, it feels ordinary. One more workout, one more page, one more difficult decision, one more promise kept. Nothing spectacular. Until one day, you realize you're handling situations that once would have defeated you. Not because life became easier, because you became stronger. I've learned that resilience doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives quietly. The first time you continue when quitting would have been reasonable. The second time becomes slightly easier. Then the third. Eventually, continuing becomes part of who you are. That's when discipline stops feeling like something you do. It becomes someone you are. Sometimes people ask what keeps me running. It isn't motivation. Motivation is welcome when it shows up, but it's a terrible leader. Some days it disappears before I even leave the house. Discipline doesn't ask how I feel. It asks who I'm becoming. That's a much better question, because feelings change every hour. Identity changes much more slowly, and every choice either strengthens that identity or weakens it. Halfway through tonight's run, something unexpected appeared in the beam of my headlamp. A small hedgehog, completely alone, crossing the track without any hurry. For a second, we both stopped. He looked at me. I looked at him. Then we continued in different directions. It lasted only a few seconds, but it reminded me of something important. Life continues even in places that seem forgotten. Even here, On this old stadium, surrounded by darkness, there's still movement. There's still life. There's still another lap waiting to be run. Maybe we're not so different. Sometimes we feel forgotten too. Like our progress doesn't matter because nobody sees it. Like our effort disappears into the darkness. But not every important journey has an audience. Some of the most meaningful victories happen where nobody is clapping. Nobody is filming. Nobody is paying attention. Except you. And maybe that's enough. Because the promises you keep when nobody is watching are the promises that define you. Those are the moments that shape your character. Not the finish lines. Not the medals. Not the compliments. The quiet decisions. Repeated over and over again. I've stopped chasing perfect conditions. I've stopped waiting for the perfect season. I've stopped believing that my environment determines my commitment. The forest changed. The mission didn't. The sunrise disappeared. The purpose stayed. The scenery became darker. The direction remained exactly the same. Maybe that's what growth really looks like. Not finding an easier road. Learning to keep moving when the road changes beneath your feet. Because life will always change the scenery. It will change the people around you. It will change your routines. It will even change the places that once felt like home. But one thing always remains under your control. The decision to take the next step. Tonight, that's enough for me. Tomorrow, it will be enough again. One lap, one decision, one promise. At a time. I'll see you on the trail tomorrow. Same time, same choice. This is Run to Evolve. One day, one run, one lesson, no excuses.